Okay, so let's just do, we're in Torah Vav,
Yeah,
and let's just do a recapitulation up to where we
sure.
are. So it says, it starts out the pasuk, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, cried Yoshua v'chule, and that is the zip file. That's Rabbeinu's zip file. And the entire rest of the Torah is going to unpackage that statement, except that the rest of the Torah, except for the first line, because the rest of the Torah's purpose is for the sake of that first line. Ki tzarich, right? Because each person needs to minimize kavod atzmo and maximize kavod makom. And we said that kavod is the aspect of what you give weight to in each moment. And as long as there's an I in your sentence, you're in kavod atzmo. Like, I am being silent. I am doing tshuva. And even though these are wonderful and important things, those are still kavod atzmo. It means means that I'm still, I exist. And Rabbeinu is saying, I'm ready to be existing, which means Hashem is creating a me being silent. He's creating a human experience of being silent. Wow. And by the way, that wow is another Torah. I think it's Likutei Moharan 13, where it says you have to take the kavod and raise it to its shorish and yira. So when we go, wow, about whatever's happening, that's yirat haramamut. All right. And so now we said that when a person is in kavod atzmo, and when he's pursuing his own kavod, that's called kavod malachim, the kavod of kings. And I think that this is an important idea because we are kings. We're sons of kings. And a king, his kavod is to always be made comfortable. It's an insult to a king. Anything that's causing a king discomfort is an insult.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on the most fine level, what Rabbeinu is trying to get us to understand is any type of discomfort that we go through in this world is Hashem insulting us. Right? And so, and how do we know if we got this? And we see people checking into us. As long as if we have people going on and like, what's going on with this guy? Who does he think he is? Or anything like that, then we have to know that we're not holding in the place of Kod HaMakom. We're holding the place of Kod Malachim. And he says, and there's different levels of kavod. There's kavod Hashem and there's Kod Elokim. I believe that Kod Elokim is when you're watching Hashem create the power of nature. And Kod Hashem is when you watch Hashem create both the below and the above. Later, Rabbeinu is going to talk about honoring, giving Hashem kavod in two worlds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then that's basically a synopsis of Aleph, and kvod Elokim is haster devar. When a person's holding in watching Hashem, then it's a hidden thing, and that type of person won't be checked into, and that's how we can also know where we're holding.
Sorry, that type of person won't what?
Will not be investigated. He will, if these people are not checking into him, it's because he's holding in that place.
Oh, okay.
And then Bays, so maybe that's where we should start. Is that where we're holding?
Sure.
Okay. V'efshar lizkot l'kavod zeh ela al yedei tshuva. V'kvetshuva ki yishma b'zyono yidom v'yishtok. So the main thing of tshuva is, you can't get to this type of perception, this type of kavod, except through tshuva. And the main tshuva is the ability to hold silence, to hold awareness of letting go of sense of self when there's an insult. And we're saying that an insult is not just the most blatant form is if you have a person who comes along and insults you. No, they don't. But the subtle form is any type of discomfort. Right now with this cough, I'm actually being insulted.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Eku Kachuva, Kishiyamad Bizyono, you don't ishtok. There's two languages, silent and quiet, or quiet and silent. So actually silent, I'm silent and quiet. Dome is I'm saying is the aspect of being like an inanimate object. And shtok is the aspect of stopping yourself from speaking. Kilet kavod below kaf. There's no kavod without kaf, and kaf is keter, which is keter is the place above that the absolute unity which we can't perceive and with our brains at all. We can only perceive the concept of it, but we can't experience. We can't perceive it experientially. In the heart, we can get a glimpse of it. And keter is the bechina of ekya, bechina tshuva. Ki ekya da'ana zamin l'mahave. I'm ready to exist. It's I will be. Right now I'm not. What am I right now? A figment of God's imagination. Right? So
Hainu kodem tshuva.
So before he does tshuva, which is we're saying tshuva. Remember, we're saying that's a different type of tshuva than what we traditionally have thought of as tshuva. What we traditionally thought of as tshuva is the Rambam. The 4 steps of the Rambam, right? To admit, to regret, to promise, and to then not do, right? But he's saying this tshuva is a tshuva of consciousness, of being aware. Oh, wait a minute. There's not a me. There's a Hashem creating a me. I'm not doing anything. Hashem's creating a me have an experience of doing. Okay, and that's because adayin lo havaya. Before tshuva, I don't have an existence. Ki'ilu adayin lo nithava ba'olam. Because if I'm not aware of Hashem's providence in that, it's as if I don't exist, as if I don't deserve to exist. Kitov lo shelo nivra mishnivra. Better that he wasn't created than he been created, because what do we need somebody in the world that's not going to be aware of Hashem? Ukeshabal letaher et atzmo v'lasot tshuva asu b'vichinat ekya. So when a person comes to purify himself and then to do tshuva, then he's in the aspect of I will be. That he's going to have an existence. I'm ready to have an existence. Because keser is a language of waiting. As the Gemara in Yoma says, the Gemara says a person who wants to do tshuva comes, somebody says, I want to purify myself. And they give an example that he comes to buy this afar simon, which is this beautiful fragrance, this beautiful perfumed oil. And the store owner says, wait, I want to smell it with you. That's the waiting. Hashem says, wait a minute, I want to smell the fragrance of your recognition of my creation with you. Good? You doing good?
Yep. So what exactly? So sorry, let's just go over that again.
Let me finish the phrase and then. Wait for me a little bit, and I'll give you life. Okay, so go.
So just what? So keter is what? One is waiting to, like, what's the bechina?
What's the bechina of waiting?
Or of keter, like.
In other words, here's the idea here. The person comes to say, I want to do tshuva. I want to purify myself.
Yeah.
Right? What according to our previous understanding of tshuva, it should be that they should say to him, okay, do a vidui, feel regret that you did this, admit that you did it, feel a regret, promise never to do it again, and don't. That's what they should be saying, but they're saying, wait. Why? Because they're saying, make it about Hashem first. Make it about Hashem. You're making it about you. That's Kvod Atzmo. I want to purify myself. Very nice. That's wonderful. It's good. But wait, there's a bigger picture here that you need to get used to perceiving. A bigger picture. It's Hashem creating this moment. It's Hashem creating this space, Kvod HaMakom. And in this space, he's creating a me. And in this me, he's creating thoughts and feelings. And a memory of having done something called a sin. And I want to go, wow, what an amazing creation. And that's the fragrance.
Where's Afar Simone?
Yes, that's the beautiful fragrance. Like, wow, Hashem, you're creating. For me, if I did a sin, God forbid, that's disgusting. Right?
Isn't
yeah.
Wouldn't smelling a beautiful fragrance sort of be a self-indulgent thing, though, like a bodily pleasure? Like,
no, we know that smell is the highest, is the spiritual. It's the only sense that wasn't damaged in the Pt1 Rishon. It's the place where you can go to the highest place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never thought about looking at the word of Far Simon and looking at like what's a deeper meaning of that word. You know, I never thought of that till now. Afar is dust, and Simon is a sign.
Yeah,
a sign of dust. About yeah, what?
It's like a sign of dust, but it's also a beautiful fragrance.
Right. So, but the beautiful fragrance is reminding me that it's only Hashem and that I'm actually dust.
Is Afar dust with an ayin or with an aleph?
Right. Aleph is as ashes. Afer.
Oh.
Afer, Simon. And Afer is what? Is I burnt myself? I'm burnt up. I'm burnt up. So I'm taking myself up. So I can say I'm sacrificing my own sense of self and burning it up and watching it be about Hashem. I don't know if that's true, but it's a nice idea, it seems.
Yeah.
Before he does the tshuva, which is the recognition of, oh, wait a minute, it's Hashem, then this aspect of ekya, of its I will be, and Hashem is the one who's creating this me to be each moment. It's in an aspect of a hidden face from him. He hasn't prepared himself to have an existence in the world. And this hidden face of Ekya is gematria of 44, is gematria of Dam, right? We said that and that's Aleph K, Yud, Yud K. When he says the Hastras Panim, it means what's called the Akorayim, the backside. It comes in letter by letter until you get the full word only at the end.
Uh-huh.
And if you spell out Aleph K, Yud, Yud K, you get 44 gematria Dam, which is blood. Hainu shvichus damim, it was visionis, and this is referring to spilling of blood and insults. Al shem uvozaye kalu, my insulters shall be cursed. In Shmuel. Ki adayin hadam shebechala smoli lev, because the blood is still in the left side of the heart. Shesham medur hayetzera, which is the dwelling place of the evil inclination. And the evil inclination, by the way, evil can be understood as anything that is, causes, or results from a lack of awareness of Hashem.
Mm-hmm.
So the formation of evil is anything that pulls me out of that awareness of that it's all Hashem. When I'm in ego, when I'm in the sense of self, when I'm in Kvod Atzmo, that is an aspect of evil.
Yeah.
No Hashem. I'm sorry. V'lev kesil shesamador yitzara. As it says in Koheles, the heart of a fool is in his left side. Adayin hu betokif ha'oz. Then that Yetzer Hara is still powerful and still strong. And that's why Hashem is sending him insults and spilling his blood to weaken that blood in the left side of the heart. It's supposed to be reminding us to pay attention. Hey, wait a minute, you're not such a big shot, you're just a creation.
Uh-huh.
That's the aspect of the hiding and then the restoring of the face of Ekya, which is Gematria Dam.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the Perush here, which I just explained about the Acharai, so we'll go on. V'tikun lazeh, and the way to fix this is Yafuch Dam Ledom. The way to fix this is transform blood into silence. Shiamin Hashomim.
So wait, sorry, what does that mean when you feel the blood doing those things to recognize that just I'm a creation and I should be Dom Lashem?
That I am the very act of being silent, of making it about Hashem, Dom Lashem, making this experience instead of about me, I'm making it about Hashem.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Right? So when we transform that dam, which is the aspect of Yetzer Hara, which is the aspect of ego, into being silent, where I don't even exist, I'm just an inanimate object. And what does that mean? Right? And that you should be that it should be that the person should be amongst those that can hear, which means perceive and hear. Their cherpa is irritation.
Mm-hmm.
The ain of meshivim, and they don't respond. That's because like a dome, an inanimate object doesn't respond. It just sits there as it is. It doesn't change. You call a rock, hey, you lousy rock. It doesn't change. Stop being a rock. It just sits there as a rock.
Yeah.
You start hitting a rock. I mean, it might break, but I mean, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change itself.
Yeah, that was Moshe Rabbeinu's mistake, right?
Ah, very nice. And he doesn't check into the insult to his own kavod. He's not worried. He's not trying to figure out how can I get out of this uncomfortable experience.
So how does that play out? You know, when you were in the hospital, for example, getting your procedure, what's going through your head?
Watching Hashem, ideally, watching Hashem create the whole thing and the wow of it. Wow. It's, I don't see it, but I believe with absolute emunah that if I could see, I'd be going, wow, look at all this amazing, each little detail fits into this incredible cosmic tapestry that's being stitched together each moment with billions and billions of different parts of it all over the world each moment, and whatever is going on here and all the different people that are in this room with me in the hospital and everything that's going on, to me in particular and in general, like how mind-blowing is that? To realize that all these seemingly random details are part of an absolutely perfect tapestry, a perfect artistic work being unfolded.
Got it.
Right? If you can hold that, try next time you go into doing something lawyerly, see if you can breathe for a second and watch that happening before you go into the lawyerly part. Like watch Hashem create wow, these neshamas that are here, and whatever it is, let's say just like the courtroom, and you go into a courtroom, like who really thinks of Hashem in a courtroom? Maybe the defendant might think, please God, help me so that I can be found innocent, whatever it is, right? But how many times does somebody actually go and think about, wow, look at Hashem creating this, orchestrating this whole thing here with as part of a divine, as a cosmic tapestry of creation?
Yeah.
My experience when I do that in those types of places, and Rabbi Nachman talks about this in Torah 33, he says that when you see that it's all Hashem, the evil falls away, and there's a tosefet or, there's an additional light. And I've seen this. It's an amazing glow that happens. It's really cool. I bless you to experience it.
Yeah, I hope I can get to that level at the end, please.
It's pretty cool. To me, it's part of what Rabbeinu seems to mean when he's talking about tasting the Hungarian wine.
Yeah.
It's quite mind-blowing. So just watching this light. He's like, when I'm holding this space of nullification and nullifying all of my awareness of what's going on for the sake of watching Hashem create that and being, wow, it's like everything goes. Sorry, we said this. Then when a person does this, Hashem throws him down empty spaces.
Yeah.
As it says in Tehillim, Dom Lashem v'yischolelo. Be silent and make yourself an empty space to him. V'yapil lecha chalalim. And he'll throw you down more empty spaces. Hainu libi chalal bekirbi. The aspect of making my heart an empty space. My heart is an empty space inside of me, David HaMelech said. That this process of holding this awareness decreases the blood in the left side of the heart, which means it decreases the power of the Yetzer Hara. That this causes this reduction of the blood in the left side of the heart. And this is an aspect of slaughtering the Yetzer Hara. And through this, a person merits godly, to be able to recognize that it's Hashem. It's the power of nature that I'm observing, that I'm experiencing, is Elokim.
Wait, why is Rabbeinu using the word halal hasmali instead of leiv hasmali? Just because it's at this point in the process, the heart is an empty space?
I think it's the idea of that when I'm full of my own experience, then that's like I'm full-hearted. And if I can then get to the point where I can watch myself from the Nikuda Elyona, we're going to talk about later, the higher point, and any emotion that I'm feeling, I actually can put in the higher place and like empty my heart in this physical place, in this physical realm, which is, I think, why he's referring to Kvod Elokim here, because it's talking about specifically the shift in my relationship of my experience within physicality.
Yeah. Got it.
כמו שכתוב, זובר תודה יכבדנני. The slaughtering of the thanksgiving honors me. ודרשו חכמינו זיכרונך על זביחת יצר הרע. And this statement, this slaughtering of a Thanksgiving, giving kavod, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says this is discussing. This is referring to slaughtering the Yetzer Hara.
So that's so interesting. So the Korban Toda is associated with the Yetzer Hara in this sentence?
Seems to be, right? But I think that's exactly the point, is I'm acknowledging, Toda is also a language of acknowledgement, right? I'm acknowledging that there's not a me, there's Hashem. It's Hashem creating this whole experience. And the Yetzer Hara doesn't like that.
So when you're giving the Korban Toda, you're acknowledging the experience, which in turn slaughters the Yetzer Hara. Because the Yetzer Hara doesn't like the acknowledgement of the experience, the acknowledgement.
Right? It seems. I mean, that's what it. That's like my sense of what's being discussed here is that that's what it seems to be.
Gotcha. Okay, you want to move on to Gimel?
And the experience that I've had in applying this, in the original experience I had when in Torah 23 Tunyana about transforming the Marash Torah into Simcha, seems a very similar experience to what. That's why have I said these things? Because of that experience. It's more like the experience has guided my understanding of this. Like most of the time we understand something conceptually and then we experience after that. Right? Mm-hmm. But this was Na'aseh v'nishma mamish. This was, I had the experience and then I understood these things from that experience of Torah 23 Tinyana, of pulling the Marash Torah, which Rabbeinu Nachman says there. The Marash Torah is the Yetzer Hara. Also, interestingly, when I was first doing this process, I would experience a pain going up the left side of my heart. I would, like, literally experience that, the slaughtering of my Yetzer Hara on the left side of my heart. It was fascinating.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually so funny. I don't know. I don't mean to feel like now I'm focusing on Kvod Atzmo just to talk about it and to pretend that I'm having, that the work I'm doing is I just said the work I'm doing. But I was feeling a lot of anger in the last few days, and in working on it, for whatever reason, I was like having heartburn.
Wow.
And I hadn't had that in a long time. And like, I didn't think I ate anything different or anything like that. And
yeah, I actually have had the heartburn experience, and so have other people, other of my students that have been teaching this. They also get this heartburn experience. Fascinating to see that seems to happen.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, right? Okay, so let's take a little break here, and we'll resume afterwards from section Gimel. Bezrat Hashem.